what we have to discuss here is the direction of a river and the left and right bank of a river. Again, this is an important topic in this chapter. Now, how to find out the direction of a river? You can see here. Suppose a river is flowing in this manner, right? How do you know that the river is coming from this side towards south or from this side towards the northern side? We don't know anything about it. So for that purpose, we have got certain things by which we can get a clear idea in which direction the river is flowing. For that, you should first check whether in the river, between both the banks of the river, any arrow has been shown or not. If any arrow has been given, that means the river is flowing in that direction. Suppose, for example, you are getting an arrow in this manner, right? There is an arrow which is given here in between both the banks of the river, like this. That means this river is flowing from the northwestern direction towards south. This is the direction. Clear? If any arrow is not given in any of the rivers, and you have to mention the direction of a river. So how to find it out? For that purpose, suppose here the arrow is not there. So in this case, how to find out the direction? Two things are there, children. Two things you should keep in mind. One thing is that, suppose this is the main stream. Okay, this is the main river which is flowing. There are always certain tributaries which join the main stream, right? From different directions, the tributaries join the main stream. Okay? Now, if you notice, all these tributaries which are joining the main river or the main stream, they all are joining it at an acute angle. They all are forming an acute angle with the river. And always these are pointing towards a direction. You can see here. All these are pointing towards this direction. And this is very, very clear by this thing that the river is flowing in that direction. That is towards the south. Always the tributaries which join the main stream, as they form an angle with the main stream, it always points towards the direction of the flow of river. So as these tributaries are forming these angles, acute angles, and it is pointing towards the south, so it's very clear that the river is flowing from the northern side, or you can say the northwestern side, towards south. Okay, this is the second method. First method was to check the arrow. If arrow is not there, then you are going to check it with the help of the tributaries which are joining the main stream. One more method is there, children, how to find out the direction. Now you will have to check the various heights which are mentioned in that part of the topo sheet which has been given to you. Now how to check that? Suppose you have just now in the earlier parts we have studied about the benchmark, spot height, triangulated height. All these are the different methods to show the height in the topo sheets. Now suppose in the topo sheet the heights have been given at several points. Now what you have to do is, along both the banks of the river, you will have to check that what are the heights mentioned. If you see very clearly, it's given at this point a spot height is there and the height mentioned here is 400. That means this is a spot height with 400 meters above the main sea level. So it is 400 meters. Again, if you come down on same side of the river, you will find one more height is mentioned, that is BM 410. That means it is benchmark height of 410. Same way, one more is given here, a spot height of 210. The other side if you see, a spot height of 300. Now, we all know it very well that always water or any liquid follows the slope, right? So if we know the height is decreasing from north towards the south, or you can say from northwestern side towards the south, so naturally the river will be having the same direction. River is flowing in the same direction. So this is another way to find out the direction of a river. Okay, first one was the arrow, second was at what angle the tributaries are joining the main stream. They form an angle, and always these angles, when we see, always these angles point towards one direction. That is the direction of the flow of the river, right? And number 3, the third method is to check the various heights which are shown in that map. Okay, so this is how we have to find out the direction of a river. Now, along with this, one more thing is there, children. In this case, regarding the topo sheet, one more question may come. What is the slope of the area which is shown in the topo sheet? What is the general slope? How to find out the slope? The same way. Same thing you have to do. Earlier, in the case of to find out the direction of river, what we have done is we have found the various heights which are shown along the bank of the river, along both the banks of the river. But now, if we have to find out the general slope of the land area which is covered under the topo sheet, what we have to do? We are going to check all the heights which are mentioned within this part of the topo sheet, right? And then from higher altitude towards the low altitude, we can say that the slope is there. If we check this part, you will find that the slope is from the north towards south. So this way, another question is this, which we have covered, that how to find out the slope of the land area which is shown in the topo sheet. Now, after this, one more thing is left, children, that is, many times it is asked that which is the left bank of the river, which is the right bank of the river, or on which bank of the river any particular settlement is lying, right? Or what is the occupation of the people on the left bank of the river or on the right bank of the river. Now, how to find it out? If you don't know how to identify which is the left bank, which is the right bank, how you will be able to answer that which settlement is lying on the left or the right bank? For that purpose, you should know one thing. Once you know about the direction of the flow of river, you have to imagine that you are standing in the same direction as that of the flow of river. Now, in this case, if the river is flowing in this direction towards south, so just imagine that you are standing in the same direction, right, as the flow of the river. Now, the next thing is what? The left side of yours, will be the left bank of the river, and your right side will be the right bank of the river. Okay? Again, I am repeating. The left bank of the river will be the left side of yours, and your right side will be the right bank of the river. So in this way, we can easily understand which is the left bank and which is the right bank. Once we have understood the left and right bank, now whatever question may come regarding that, suppose if any forested area has been given in this part, right? And it has been asked that it lies on which bank of the river, left or right. You can easily understand that this is lying on the left bank of the river, because you know how to find it out. So this is again one important thing which you should keep in mind. Now children, a few more things you have to notice here. When any river is shown in the topo sheet, the questions may come, give a few features, some important features of a river. which is passing through the area which is shown in the topo sheet. Now here the main stream which is given here, this is one, and along with this you will find a number of small tributaries are joining it. Now basically one feature you can mention that these streams or the river, all these are of seasonal nature. Seasonal streams, right? Seasonal streams are always shown by black color. So these all are seasonal streams. Now one more thing you must have noticed here, in this the main stream, main river which is shown here, in this you must have seen that there is a blue line passing through it, almost in the center of it. What is it now? Again, this can be taken as another feature of the stream. What is it now? This is called a perennial flow of water channel, right? This can be called as a perennial water channel is passing through the seasonal stream, right? Always it is shown by blue color. A blue line when it passes through the seasonal river, that means it has got a perennial flow of water channel. Besides this, if you see here, small dots are given in between the two banks of the river. Now all these are showing the sandy bed of the river, right? This is another feature. One more thing you can notice here, several islands are also there. These are the islands, okay? And these islands which are formed within the rivers, such islands are called as riverine islands. Riverine, that means related with the rivers, okay? So these are the important features of river. Besides this, one more thing is there which we need to discuss at this point. That is, when the two settlements or two certain points have been given to you and you have been asked to find out the distance between the two. How to find it out? For that purpose, children, you should understand one thing, that earlier we used to have two methods. One was direct method, direct distance we used to calculate, or it was also called many times as the crow-fly distance. Crow-fly means we generally consider that the direct distance between the two places, shortest distance, is called as the crow-fly. Why by this name? Because we believe that all the birds, when they move from one place to the other, when they fly over that area, they take always the shortest distance between the two places. And that's why this is also called by the name crow-fly, right? Another method was, earlier we used to have that, but now in this reduced syllabus, now the indirect distance is not there. Indirect distance was along any road or any cart track. If we follow that curved path of any road or cart track in covering the distance between the two places, that used to be called as the indirect distance. But now, because we don't have this, so you just concentrate on one part of it, that is the direct distance. Now how to find it out? Between the two places, suppose the question has been given, what is the distance between the settlement Y and Z? Now how to find out the distance? One thing you should understand, children, the scale of map is going to help in this. What is the scale of the map? 2 centimeter is equals to 1 kilometer. Now, keeping that in mind, when you measure, how to measure it now? First of all, let me tell you the method. The settlement which is there, you just draw a rough line in this way, right? North, south and east, west. Just almost from the center of the settlement. Same way, the other one also. Now, what you are getting out of it? The 2 points, the point where the two lines are intersecting at this, at Y as well as on the Z. 2 points you have got. Now the next thing what you have to do is take the scale which you have in your geometry boxes. Now that scale you are going to take and you will measure from this point to this point. As you measure this distance between this point and this point, direct distance, that will be in centimeters, right? Suppose the distance between y and z is 4 centimeters, right? It has come 4 centimeters. Now how to find out the distance in actual on the ground? For that purpose we have to convert this in kilometers. How to do it now? We know that the scale of the map is 2 centimeter is equals to 1 kilometer. Okay. Now what we have to do is, suppose 2 centimeter is equals to 1 kilometer, or 1 centimeter is equals to half kilometer, right? So 4 centimeter or any measurement is there, suppose 4. So 4 centimeter will be equals to half into 4, that will give you 2 kilometers. This is the actual distance between place Y and Z, the two settlements Y and Z, right? So this is how, children, you have to find out the distance between two places. Okay? Now, in the same video, I want to tell you one more thing, children, that is the occupation. How to find out the various occupations of the people when we are getting a topo sheet. In that case, you should know a few things, a few basic things are there. When any area is colored by yellow color, that always indicates a cultivable land. Cultivable land. So naturally, if a cultivable land is there, so what is going to be the main occupation of the people? Agriculture. Agriculture, or you can say the cultivation. That is the main occupation. Another thing is that, suppose in any part of the topo sheet, green colored is there. That is called green wash. By yellow color, it is called yellow wash. When it is green colored area, that is called green wash. Now what is that area indicating? Green color always indicates a forested area. Okay, a forested area. If a forested area is there, naturally which occupation we can relate with that? Forestry. Okay, so this is how you have to relate different things with certain symbols, certain colors which are there in the topo sheet. Same way, one more thing is there, children. Suppose a white colored area is there in the topo sheet. Now white color indicates a barren land. So if a barren land is there, neither it is having any forest nor it is having any cultivable area, it's a barren land. So barren land can have two uses. In that case, we have to check two different things whether we find it or not. One thing is that if a barren land is there, white colored area is there, in that anywhere if it is written, always the vegetations are mentioned in words. If it is written the thorn and scrub vegetation, that indicates a, or you can say the open scrub area. Open scrub indicates a region where rainfall is very scanty. Always the open scrub is found in such an area where the rainfall is very scanty. So when rainfall received is scanty rainfall, so in that area no other vegetation can survive except a few thorny bushes and all, and that is called as open scrub. Open scrub is a type of vegetation. Now what occupation can be there related to it? That is the animal domestication, or you can say the cattle rearing. These are the occupations which are dependent on the open scrub or any such vegetations which we find there. So this is one part of the white area. Another thing you may find at several places, if the white colored part has got certain things written over there, suppose rock outcrop or sheet rock. Okay, so in this way when it is there, that means the rocky surface is visible on the surface. That means the rock is visible, the bedrock is visible on the surface. If the rock is there on the surface, the rocky area is there, now which occupation can be related with that? The occupation will be quarrying. This occupation will be quarry. Q-U-A-R-R-Y-I-N-G. Quarrying will be the occupation related with the rocky surface. Okay. In certain parts you may find a symbol like suppose a dot is there surrounding with a small circle, and somewhere very close to it will be written lime kiln, K-I-L-N, lime kiln. Now what does that mean? These are actually the area where the limestone is extracted. This is an area where limestone is present and it is extracted for economic purpose. So there you can mention that the people may also have some other occupations, like they are working in the lime kiln or they are working in some other parts. Okay. So these are a few things which I wanted to tell you. When you have to study about the occupation, 4 or 5 main occupations you should keep in mind. Number 1 is when it is yellow colored or yellow wash, that's going to be cultivable land, and what is the occupation based on it? That is cultivation or agriculture. Number 2 is the green wash or the green colored area. It indicates a forested land. Now which occupation can be mentioned here? Occupation is forestry. Anything related with the forest, right? Don't mention the word lumbering. Lumbering is not the correct term which you need to use in this part. Simple forestry. Now the third thing is that when we are getting a clear white colored area. So in white colored area also, open scrub. If open scrub is there in that part, you can easily say that the occupation of the people can also be animal domestication or cattle rearing. This is the third occupation. Number 4 is that whenever we find a rocky surface in that area, again a white colored area. So in that case, we can say quarry or quarrying is the main occupation of the people in that part. And if no such thing is there, only a few settlements are there, and it has been asked what can be the main occupation of the people within that settlement, what you are going to say? Because there we are not involved in forestry, the people are not involved in cultivation, the people are not involved in quarrying and all. So what occupation can be the main occupation in the case of any settlement area, or you can say urban or rural area? The main occupation is going to be the tertiary occupation. Tertiary involves everything related, like the various jobs. In the urban areas, mostly maximum number of people you will find are having this occupation, that is they belong to the service sector. So all that comes under the tertiary occupation. Clear? So these are a few things which were there to be discussed. Now in the next video I am going to show you a few symbols, right? Conventional signs and symbols which you need to study here. Unless you know, unless you understand the various conventional signs, you won't be able to interpret the topo sheet. So children, you should go through the conventional signs which are there in the book. Okay children, so we are going to continue again in the next video with the conventional signs.